People don't become police officers because they don't care about people, right? You wouldn't give up any chance you might have had at some other career without a fairly strong sense of service. You wouldn't go through the police academy without a fairly strong sense of commitment. That's for sure. My experience was, I suppose, like a lot of other cops, wanting to make a difference. Stop crime, make people's lives better. Most cops work hard. I did. Day shifts, night shifts, good neighborhoods, other neighborhoods. You get to know your zone, you get to know your town, you get to know your people. After a while, you start to feel protective. You get pissed off when people commit crimes against your people, right? You start to feel part of the community. People thank you for your service. One of the myths in the media about police work is this idea that most people don't appreciate police presence. They do. In all communities, they do. Minority communities, white communities, black communities. Most people appreciate our presence, want more of it. Survey data back that up, not just anecdotal. Time goes by. Some things change. Some things don't. You start to wonder whether you make a difference, whether you matter. Crime waxes and wanes, but it's hard to see change in a meaningful way in most of these neighborhoods. The things that drive crime seem to persist. Just keeps rolling on in a cycle. Poor education, poor employment opportunities, gangs, unexpected pregnancies, single moms, tough times, difficult situations. Welfare, long-term unemployment, lack of hope, lack of aspiration, despair, bad parenting, and so it goes, the cycle. Crime gets passed down from one generation to the next. What we've been doing to people through poor schools is more than just crushing opportunities on an individual basis. What we've been doing to people through welfare is more than just crushing souls one at a time, more than just hurting individuals, families, children. It's bad for people on a colossal scale. Communities. We crush whole cultures. I first took a police entrance exam in Washington, D.C., about more than 30 years ago. 20 years later, I finally made the commitment to police work. After the first time I took the test, I decided to stay in school, become an economist instead. It's funny, all these years later, maybe ironically, this job will turn you back into an economist. You can use pencil and paper to predict what's going to happen to these neighborhoods with bad public policy. You can predict what's going to happen when you give a bad public school virtual monopoly over a community. Then you put politicians in charge of dealing with the teacher unions. Then you dump welfare in a community like crack. You know it's going to be bad. But when you're out here day to day, it's not just pencil and paper. You can see it play out. You feel it. Police work's changing, moving toward more transparency, more accountability. It's a good thing. What we need are better contracts that support that, also give some upside incentive. I don't mind giving the city flexibility in terms of holding me accountable. I'd like to see some incentive for cops to do a good job too. We need less politics involved in all directions, right? For heaven's sake, we got to get rid of laws that send people to jail for things for which they ought to be sent to rehab. This idea of victimless crime seems to me and most police officers that no victim probably ought to mean no crime, right? You come out here to make a difference. And in the end, the difference is in you. You want to make change, but you get changed. You change based on what you see, what you learn, what you know to be true. You develop an unwillingness to go along with what the media are selling. All you ever hear on television, all you ever read online is this group is mad at this other group, somebody's oppressing somebody, some group is disrespecting another group. Nobody ever talks about what's actually going on out here on an individual level. What really matters. The fact that the government policies that we put in place in the 60s when I was a kid, in the 70s, the things that we thought would lead to the end of poverty, well-intentioned programs, right, are killing people. Killing neighborhoods, killing communities. I don't know if anyone's actually interested in hearing the truth anymore. Sometimes it makes you wonder whether it's just a political game. Makes you wonder whether politicians are using people. 51.